Patty Ringenberg, and welcome to the latest episode of Living on Purpose. Today, in preparation for Valentine's Day, we're going to talk to one of the most delightful couples at Larksfield Place, George and Marjean Fooshee.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
That's very sweet. Thank you.
So glad you could be here today.
Well, it's fun to do. It was fun to prepare for.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, okay, Marjean, I can't remember if you told me if you were a proud German or Irish, but can you tell me what George did to sweep you off your feet and convert you to being French, hence the fancy name Fooshee?
Fooshee. Well, it's always fun when Amy Hall calls me Marjean Fooshee. But I was Irish, and my daddy and I, he taught me a little ditty, and it goes S-U-L-L-I-V-A-N-U-C. All the Irish blood that's in me, never man could say a thing against me. S-U-L-L-I-V-A-N-U-C. It's a name that shame never can be connected with. Sullivan, that's me.
Oh, I love that.
That's an introduction.
Yeah.
George and Cohan song.
What? Oh,
George
is it?
Yes,
Okay.
Harrigan.
Okay,
Yes.
that's right, Harrigan. That was it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've forgotten that. So yes, yes, am Irish, but I've learned over the years to tame my temper, my Irish temper, you know. But George and I met at a party that my daddy planned. He asked me, "You've just started at North High School, and so you don't know a lot of people, but why don't you ask a few guests over, and we'll have hot dogs in the backyard and pop, and we can just have fun. You can meet a lot of people." Well, I asked a few people, but many came. The word got passed, and the football team all came, and George was there, but I didn't meet him at that time. But later,
I saw this cute little gal there, and I thought I was a senior, and I thought, well, I'm going to call her and ask her for a date. And so I did that, and of course we went to the show because her dad owned the theater.
of course, of course.
And that started our numerous dates and movies and dances, and then it came time for me to leave. I was going to SMU in Dallas, Texas, and would be gone for 4 years. But what we did, as I left, her dad went down at the end of the driveway. He said, "Now, George, you guys have had a lot of fun, and you're going to have to stop that because I'm going to, John Marjean is going to date, and you better go down to SMU and date too." And so that I said, "Yes, sir."
Yes, sir.
And
Oh, yes. Well, anyway, we did date, although we were apart. When he would come home on vacations, we'd always get together. We wrote copious letters, and we were able to call. George had to go out in the hall and call because there was no phone in his room. But we continued to communicate with each other, and when he would come home on vacations, we would continue dating. And I knew that he was just my man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. What theater was it that your dad owned?
Well, he owned the Civic,
Oh, yeah.
and he owned the Crest,
Oh.
and the 54 drive-in and the 81 drive-in.
Wow.
So he had to send out for more food at the party
Mhm.
because we ran out of hot dogs with all the kids that came. So anyway,
Oh, my.
so he scavenged the drive-ins that served the hot dogs. So anyway,
Oh, great. So how long have you been married now?
67 years.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And you see, we went together for 6.5 years before that. So it seems like all of our lives.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Which has been great.
Yeah.
It's been great. We're very very grateful.
Mm-hmm.
Very grateful for
Well,
that.
I can see that. And so what do you attribute to the longevity and having such a healthy marriage?
George?
Well, I'd just tell you the word togetherness.
Yeah.
In other words, we purpose to stay in touch
Yeah.
and to be together whenever possible. She made a trip or two to SMU,
Yeah.
and we got together that way. And then I went back to Boston after SMU 4 years. I went back to Boston to the
Harvard Business
School, and that was 2 years, and that was really far away.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we stayed in touch, and Marjean finished KU early. She was a great planner, and I had a spring break of a week from Boston.
Every year. Mm-hmm.
So I flew home on a Wednesday night, and we got married on Friday night.
Saturday
night,
Mm-hmm.
and left town,
Yeah.
and honeymoon going back to Boston. So the key word there was just togetherness. Now we are together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The interesting thing is that we flew to Tulsa, where we had our car stowed away. We didn't want my uncle getting into our car. We knew him, and so we flew to Tulsa and spent the night, and then we started our drive back. So I think we met all of the Fooshee relatives at that time.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah, on the way back.
Wow. So are there couples that modeled healthy relationships from you, for both of you, and what did you learn from them?
Well, George, you want to tell about the Lefevres?
Yeah, we had two friends that came real close to us, John and Jan Lefevre, and one thing we caught from them was that they walked together every morning, just like, and then they also read the scriptures every morning. And so we started that, and we're still doing it.
Yeah.
That's great.
And they've gone on to be with the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah, an interesting thing, tell about how you worked for your dad after we came back.
Well, my father was a bill collector, and he had a collection agency at Hydraulic and Douglas here in Wichita, and the building's still there. And so, of course, I started working for him, and I saw how much trouble people were in. And then I met another fella, and he was trying to do the same thing, so he found out that there were 3,470 verses in the Bible about money and possessions. And so I decided I wanted to try to write a book and help people that way.
Yeah.
So my book was You Can Be Financially Free. And it was really enjoyable for me, and I couldn't get everything I wanted to say in this one, so I wrote another book, and it was You Can Beat the Money Squeeze. And in it, I had Marjean make some contributions.
Well, I put my 2 cents with that, which was worth 18 cents.
So
that's great.
We've been together in lots of ways.
Yeah, but the interesting thing too is that we hadn't talked about this, George, but you wanted me to take over the budget. And I didn't want any part of a budget. I was not good at math. We were never on good friends. But we did, but he did. He turned it over to me, and I said, the honeymoon must be over as well as I can judge it. You've taken me off the pedestal and put me on a budget.
So we just came out of our Living It campaign. Can you give us a summary of some of the new things you both tried, and how did those things challenge you?
Well,
Well, both of us did no sugar for a day.
tough.
Oh, yeah.
I signed up, but I have sore legs, so I signed up for a rehab, and I'm in the process of it right now, and that's helping. Marjean did some other things.
Well, you also joined me in the drum circle, which I'd been wanting to do.
Oh.
And that was
was
great fun,
yeah.
great fun. I just,
Wonderful.
you know,
And I'm gonna go to chair yoga when I can.
Yeah.
It comes up.
yeah, I went to chair yoga and that was interesting. I think it would really be good for George. It stretches and does a lot of things for the body. So, and then we did invite another couple to come to dinner with us that we didn't know real well. So we got to know them. We looked up their bio on Touchtown and found out some information about them. And then so we were able to ask questions to them.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so
That's a great place to find out about
it is.
other people.
It is. I
and you
love
can-
it.
Oh, great, great. I'm
Yeah.
glad you're using that to do that.
Yes.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
So did you find out some new things about yourself while you were trying out these new things?
Well, we found out that there's far more things to do than we can ever do. But in order to do that, we have to be willing to cut out some things. You know, we can only do so much, and so that was one of the things that we found out. I do like to be involved, and so with all the activities there are here, it's so much fun, and I feel like, you know, we're in a place where they're offered. And we want to take advantage of it. So, you know, next month we will have been here 12 years.
Oh, great,
So,
great.
yeah.
Oh,
And I don't know whether I mentioned or not, but I felt like I was going off to college and learned a whole new group of friends. You know,
Well,
That
I want
is
to tell you a couple of things. She didn't finish that budget thing,
oh.
but she literally kept our family budget dollar for dollar up till now.
yeah, yeah.
So,
And I still wanted to do it. One of the problems I'm having right now is that I have macular degeneration and glaucoma, so my eyes are not like they used to be, and being on the computer too long keeps me, you know, my eyes don't do as well if I'm on the computer too long. So in order to be able to spend more time with George, take advantage of the activities here, I have to be willing to give up keeping the budget, which is hard. I love to do it.
Yeah.
And I remember I told you, Math and I were never on good friends,
Yes.
good terms.
But yet it worked out so
It
well
did.
that you were able to. That's another thing you share is
Yeah.
the money management, and that's a wonderful thing because for a lot of couples it's hard. One person's on one page and one person's on another in terms
Exactly.
of financial planning and money management. So
Yes.
it's wonderful.
Yeah, when
and
George,
so I'll leave her alone, and she's making these things.
well, yeah, the cards. I love to do greeting cards on the
Oh,
computer.
yeah.
And they take about
An hour or
an
so.
hour.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah. So because
so
I'm too
I don't
particular.
bother her. And what I do some brain games. I need that bad. And I take naps. I need that bad.
There you go.
Yeah, right.
Well, that again, that's one of the things I admire about you too is how you your love for each other. It shows as you walk the halls of Larksfield Place. You do so many things together. Now, how do you avoid being annoyed by one another as a consequence of
Yeah,
spending so
right.
much time together? I know
Well-
you mentioned you do different things.
Yeah, well, I take naps.
There you go.
And I'm not there.
Yep.
And she's not there, and then she's making those cards.
Well, the key is that we give each other space
Yeah.
to do things that we like to do individually. And we don't have to do everything together, you know. We love being together. Of course, we do have some conflicts sometimes, but we work through those conflicts. And with the Lord's help, we're able to do that. That's one thing I don't think we mentioned is that we were invited to go to a spiritual retreat in Salina, and it was given by E. Stanley Jones, who was a famous author, Bible teacher, and we went there and saw that there was a picture on the side of the wall that said, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock, and if anyone opens the door, I will come into him and sup with him and he with me." And they gave us the opportunity to commit our lives to Jesus at that time. And to me, that's the key that's holding us together. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've learned scripture, and we've lost a lot of the addresses, but there's a one scripture that's so good. It says, "Look not to your own interests, but also to the interests of others." Not only to your own interests, but also to the interests of others. So I let him do what he loves to do alone, and I do things alone, but yet we love to do things together, you know.
And you're looking out for each other.
Well,
too.
exactly.
And that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And our faith is the basis of
Yeah, our faith is the
everything.
basis of is our relationship.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it really is.
Last thing probably is that we love the pictures our
Grandchildren.
grandchildren
Oh.
send.
And greats.
And great,
Yes.
and we stop and watch those, and they come all the way from Brooklyn to Seattle, and
And
last night
Colorado.
we were with 7 of them last night.
Seven great grands last night.
Oh,
So family is
From 8
great.
months to 13.
oh, isn't that wonderful?
Yeah,
Oh,
really is.
that's great.
And it's such a delight to see how our grandchildren are raising their children. It's just a blessing
Wow.
to see how that is happening.
Homeschooling.
Oh,
Yeah, a lot of homeschool.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yes,
wonderful.
that's good.
That is. Yeah, well, you talk about feeling like Larksfield's kind of like a college, like you've gone to college and you're meeting all these new people. So are there any other benefits you want to talk about living here at Larksfield?
Well, the food is getting much, much better. The thing that's happened is that they're so willing to take comments and suggestions. And we do that. And I'm willing and eager to share good comments to them, because that's an encouragement, you know.
Yeah.
I know as a cook, which I've loved cooking all my life, and that's why we're in the villa, because I feel like I can cook. Our kitchen is phenomenal. So I feel like I can cook much more than I did, than I would otherwise. So, although there are people in the apartments that do as well, but we love it. And living in the villa too gives us an opportunity to walk back and forth, you know. So that's exercise and keeps us healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so the living on purpose, as we continue with that, trying to do more of that. Do you have any individual goals, and do you have any goals as a couple that you'd like to share with us?
What's the goal?
Well, we're just trying to live together as well as we can the rest of our lives here. We're
As
happy to
long-
be here.
As long and as healthy as we can.
Yeah, that sounds great. And well, just thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Both George and Marjean for being here on our special Valentine's Day
Yes.
episode. I think you really exhibit the love. What Valentine's Day is all about is what you
Yeah.
exemplify in your lives.
Well, it's not just what Hallmark does. you
Right.
know.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, our son-in-law said, "I'm not going to send a card just because Hallmark said to me
Yeah.
to send a card."
Yeah.
But yes, when we loved working on this together.
Oh.
We hadn't done a project like this for a long time.
Oh.
So this was fun to
Well,
do.
that's wonderful.
It was really fun to
That's
do.
wonderful. Yeah, it seems like whatever you do together, it shows
Well,
the love you have for each other
Thank you.
and the way you're able to give that out. I mean, you give that out to other people as well.
yeah.
And that's
Well,
wonderful.
you know, the Lord has been good, and we're very grateful for all that He's done
Yes.
for us.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
indeed. God is good. You bet. Well, happy Valentine's Day.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
and the same to
And
you.
thank you for coming.
Yeah,
You bet.
all right.